All right, to start off today's activity, we are going to first list out all of our perfect squares. We are working on square roots, right? This symbol right here means I'm going to take the square root of something. And so in order to start taking the square root of something, we should think about what our perfect squares are. 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, so on and so forth. 25 times 25 is 625. And if you don't have all these written down, please take a moment and write them down now, because in order to simplify some imperfect square roots, we're going to first need to find factors that are perfect squares. So when I'm looking at this one, I want to know what are some factors of 25, what factors of 75, things that I can multiply to equal 75. One of the best hints for this is to essentially just divide by perfect squares. For instance, I could do 75 divided by 9, and I get this big long decimal. That's not a factor. I could do 75 divided by 16, and I get this decimal. That's not a factor. Well, the other thing I could do is maybe keep going, divide by 25, divide by 36. I could keep going, 75 divided by 25 is 3. I get a round whole number. That means 25 and 3 are factors of 75. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into the square root of 25 times 3. Instead of square root of 75, I have the square root of 25 times 3. Anything that's a perfect square can come out of that square root symbol. If you're perfect, you can come out of that square root jail. And I can take the square root of 25, right? What is the square root of 25? It's 5. You could type that in your calculator if you needed to. 25, the square root of 25 is 5. And so when I take this out of that square root symbol, I get a 5 on the outside of my square root symbol. 3 is not a perfect square, so it is staying stuck inside my square root symbol, and that is my answer. Let's do the same idea for 117. Let's divide 117 by all sorts of different numbers. I can divide by 4, I can divide by 9, I can divide by 16. Let's just go down that list. 117 divided by 4, nope. 117 divided by 9, yeah, 9 and 13 are factors of 117. So let's use that. I'm going to rewrite this as 9 times 13. 9 is a perfect square up in my perfect square list, so it can come out of the square root jail. And once I do that, I take the square root of 9, which is 3, and that 13 is left inside. So now you can see if you can do number 3 and number 4. See if you can reduce number 3 and number 4. The 300 can be broken down into 100 times 3, and the square root of 100 is 10. So my answer is 10 root 3. And then for number 4, 28 can be broken down into 4 times 7. 4 is a perfect square. The square root of 4 is 2. And so my final answer is 2 root 7. Down here, we're going to do the same exact thing. I'm just adding an extra number out in front. This number out in front is going to be multiplied times whatever my answer is here. So let's first simplify square root of 125. Breaking the 125 down, 125 divided by 9. Nope, doesn't work. 125 divided by 16. Nope, doesn't work. 125 divided by 25. Yeah, 25 and 5 are factors of 125. So I'm going to rewrite this as 7 times the square root of 25 times 5. This square root of 25 is going to come out in front. And so I get 5 root 5 there, but it is going to be multiplied times this 7. So now I have 7 times 5. This number in front, these two numbers outside my square root symbol, I'm going to multiply them. 7 times 5 is 35. I still have this square root of 5 that's going to hang on in my final answer. Let's do number 6. How can we break down 32? What perfect square can I take out of 32? Well, again, I always start off with 32, 32 divided by 9. Nope. 32 divided by 16. 16 times 2 is 32. So let's break this down. I'm going to have that negative 2 is going to be multiplied times whatever I get as my final answer. 32 can be broken down in 16 times 2. 16 is a perfect square, so it can come out of the square root symbol. And when it comes out, it becomes a 4. That 2 stays inside. And so I'm going to multiply negative 2 times this 4, and I'll keep this square root of 2 in my final answer. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. And that square root of 2 is in my final answer. See if we can do number 7 and 8. $112 can be broken down into 16 times 7. And so when I take the square root of 16, that equals 4. And so I have 4 root 7. And then, of course, that 4 gets multiplied times negative 9. So that's how I got negative 36 root 7. Think about how you might break down 20. What perfect square can I divide out of 20? 20 can be broken down into 4 times 5. The square root of 4 is 2, and so I have 5 times 2, which is 10, and that square root of 5 stays in my final answer. And now you're needing to finish the rest of this packet.